Hello lovely people, here we are, SV Tapatya. We are building a cruising sailboat. And as you can probably tell, I'm sat on the aft deck again, which seems to be the place for hanging out and talking to you these days. And here we are. This week, a lot done this week. Again, very happy with progress. The first thing I've done, which I shall shoot a little bit of film of in a minute, is that I've varnished completely to the end everything inside. All of the wood trim is now completely varnished and very glossy and very lovely. I did not film me varnishing it. You've seen me doing a bit of varnish, and frankly I'm not sure it's the most interesting thing to video. So just take it from me, it has been varnished, me with a brush in my hand going around there with lots of coats of epiphanes. Then here quite a bit has happened in this vicinity as well. If I kneel up here, you will notice that the sliding hatch is back in position and sliding. I've still got to put the blocks underneath to stop it lifting off of the runners, but it's in position and sliding, which is jolly good. So that's there. And I'm also working on the washboards for here. The washboards, there's a bit of a story, but more about that I think next week. The story of the washboards. For now, suffice to say that they're in progress, on their way towards completion, with a little bit of a delay. Leaving the washboards alone, I've also fitted the lazarette hatch. I think last week it was laid in position. Now I've got the hinges on. It hinges beautifully, and still needs a catch at the front end, but it has been fitted, hinged. The fitting of something like this is quite involved. There are 3 screws go through each hinge, and in this situation with something that moves and could potentially have leverage on those hinges, I thought it was wise to go for the old drill approach. So drilled an oversized hole, filled it with epoxy, wait until it's set off, and then re-drill with the correct size hole, so the hole is running down the middle of the epoxy core, and that core is sealing all the end grain of the plywood. So I did that, and also made up some stainless steel backing plates under the deck, so to prevent it pulling through the deck to support the loads on it. So quite a lot of work. What you see at the end is a couple of hinges on a hatch, but it's an involved process. If you're like me, one of the many thoughts that have been burning deep in your brain is it possible to cut a bit of stainless steel like that, which is 8 centimetres I believe wide, 8 centimetres by 5 mil I believe, 5 millimetres thick. Is it possible to cut a bit of stainless steel with that, like that, with a Bosch rechargeable battery grinder, 12 volt? Let's find out. Of course, you know, you might see that as being fairly silly, but because anybody who was in a workshop would clearly get out their trusty Makita and cut it with power, but we're not always in a workshop, are we? And I know from experience, if you're out there at anchor on a boat, haven't got a massive generator or inverter, you're down to hand tools sometimes. On our last boat, I sometimes spent absolutely ages drilling holes in the boat with this very hand drill, which is a Fiskars actually, a better make than I imagined, but sometimes I spent considerable amounts of time winding that through. So if you can use power tools of some sort on a deck, on a boat at anchor, and if you can cut stainless at anchor, and you can, we've proven it with something like that, that could be a really helpful thing, couldn't it? And you may remember some months ago I also proved it's possible to charge these batteries from 12 volt DC power. Having said that, I'm fitting an inverter. Does work. Oh, it's perfect. Can I get one in there? Looking nice. And while we're still on the aft deck, you may notice two Fairleads in position. Look fairly simple from the inside, but from the outside they look very pretty. I've still got to put a bit of filler around here, and I should paint right up to that, so we'll just see that stainless rim sticking through there. I think it's going to look nice. Happy with those Fairleads. There will be a big old cleat here somewhere, one central cleat. Ropes come through the Fairleads onto that cleat for mooring or whatever. Yes, so all of that has taken place and looking good. And I have to say I rather like the shape of these Fairleads because they sort of match the shape of the scuppers. So it's all quite pleasing to my eye, at least. Obviously it's not just all about putting bits on the boat, although that is a major part of it. Also spent a fair bit of time researching, thinking and planning what's coming next, and I'm certainly getting ready once this, well, let's take it back a step. I have ordered the paint for the hull. It should be here in the next day or so. So the final top coat, the gloss for the hull, you'll see what colour it is soon, next week possible. It's on its way, very exciting. Also another little bit of this white gloss for the foredeck. So once they're done and glossed, and you will remember, I'm sure, that the goal was for the summer to get all that glossed, so we've got another 2 or 3 weeks of August, then whatever's good in September, which will probably be most of it. Then I'm thinking about getting into the engine room, and I'm starting to plan installations in the engine room, looking at diesel installations, the final versions of the engine mounts I'm thinking about planning. That's coming. I've got various electrical pieces to fit inside. I've got a small inverter and a new battery charger that needs installing, so that will involve some adaptation of the electrical system as it is. So that's sort of in thought. And a big one, I'll spend a fair bit of time researching, calculating for the keel, and I hope to be getting to the keel, which will excite lots of you. Hope to be getting to the keel this winter. We shall see, eh? But I hope to be getting to that. It's a nice little winter job. Yeah. So that's where we are. This evening I should be getting inside. I think I've got a few dribbles of varnish I need to clean up. There's a couple of bits of paint on here and around and about that need cleaning up. I should do a bit of a paint clean up session. So that's brought to a close. Did a bit of fill around those Fairleads probably as well. And that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. As you may well now know, we have a bit of a Patreon thing going on, a Patreon site, and some very, very lovely people support this project, support the filmmaking, the video making, and what we're doing here. And if you feel like joining the gang there, it's as little as $1 a month, and it'd be lovely to see you. Good, we'll cut there. See you next time. Bye.
By the sun, head thrown back, taking it in. A new day has begun. Still going steady. She was stopped by no one.